federal government disbursed 246.7 billion naira to Rivers State and its 23 local governments between March and June 2025 under the leadership of sole administrator Vice Admiral Ibok-Ete Ekwe Ibas, retired despite constitutional concerns. The allocations, confirmed by FAC records, were released following a state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu in March, which led to the suspension of Governor Simlaye Fubara and other elected officials. Civil society group header petitioned the central bank to suspend the disbursements, citing constitutional violations, especially the sacking of elected local government chairmen and their replacement with appointees. The group referenced a Supreme Court ruling which declared caretaker administrations at the local level unconstitutional, emphasizing the illegality of Ibas action. The state of emergency and Ibas controversial appointment have sparked public debate over governance and resource management in Rivers State, while the federal government defends the funding as necessary under extraordinary circumstances. Critics warn it undermines democratic principles and violates the 1999 Constitution. Chizi, what do you make of this development?
You know, Rivers is a very interesting place. I can tell you, I'm from here and I'm proud coming from here. Because what I have found out in Rivers State is that every issue goes to the public domain, because we always talk from the place of sentiment, the place of bias. If not, the question is, why would a Rivers person want the federal government to stop giving us our allocation? Why would any Rivers person stop the federal government? Don't forget that even when the suspended governor, I hate to keep referring to that, but we are product of history. Even when the past government were doing things that we know that were flagrant display of illegality, especially as concerns the legislators, because there was no appropriation and all of that. Some of us didn't ask the federal government to stop the allocation because you can't stop us. It's our money. Now it is left for us to now question the users of the fund. Why are you using this fund? It's a different ballgame. Now, if you say, well, this money is here, how are you using it? It's another thing altogether. But to say that they should stop our allocation, so who should they give it to? Give allocation to who, or keep it in the federal government post to be making interest for federal government, because the interest will now be reallocated to all the states. What are you saying? It should come to us first. Now, on the illegality of all of that, we have said it times to that number, that people should know the basic concept of the declaration of emergency instead of emergency. It doesn't matter your argument. Even though the issues are in court, people have gone to court to do that. First is to know the basic concept is that you suspend constitutional government. And before then, the court held that we didn't have a government. And like I said, when they begin to put it vis-a-vis the local government, I tell them, if the local government were here, it was the election was okay and all of that, no sole administration, no even governor has a right to dissolve them. But he also came and met a local government that were not around, and people had to be paid. Things had to be do. And of course, you don't forget that the local government is the nearest, or what would I say, the closest to the people. And so you can't afford to allow. There's something I call the doctrine of necessity. It may not be mentioned, but the fact that you didn't have somebody stay in this place, and you need to administer, the sole administrator cannot administer Rivers State as sole administrator and just stay in the state. It has to reach the local government. And the local government has to be taken care of. And I said in one of the shows here that you can't have the accounting officers, the civil servants, also be the payer. That is, I'm going to be paying myself and all of that. You must have somebody, since he's a sole administrator, he also brought a sole administrator to begin to administer that. That is not negating the constitution. But this is a situation where you do not have anything. They have to conduct election. No wonder they also conduct the election. So I think that they will bring the money. Ours is to come back to now say,
ask questions,
interrogate that system. Was the money spent? How was the money spent? Some persons, argued, the backside that, oh no, look, I was listening to some radio commentaries, and people were saying, oh no, that what's it called? After all, the constitution the appropriation bill was not passed before they release that money. And I said, then you lack basic knowledge of the provisions of the Constitution. Now, if you also send a budget, there is a certain percentage at which the governor has a right to begin to spend. Governor in this instance now is the sole administrator. That he has certain level to begin to spend. I'm not talking about the expenses now. I'm not talking about the expenditure now. I'm talking about the allocation coming. So on that perspective, I want to say, well, we must have our allocation. Now, on how they are spending it, I'm not an agent of government. You know, I do not work in any of the agencies of government. But I like to say to them, if you say 4 months, and now even including the local government, the question will be, 4 months, if you divide 4 months by my knowledge about arithmetic and mathematics, may tell me that it's in between 50 billion average, including our local government. That is far too low, if you ask me. That's far too low. When they say, look at what is our budget.
Let's say about 60 billion.
That's it. If you say
60 billion.
Oh yes. So let's say about 60 billion. Now they said, look at our budget. Our budget is 1.4 trillion. And of course, like I said, budget is also expected income and expenditure. So it's expected. So it's not like it's there. But the question is, just remove the 23 local government. You will find out that what is coming to the state is not like that. And just if you do the mathematics, assuming without considering that all that the local government collects is 500 million naira a month, that will mean 12 billion naira out of the 60 billion naira you're talking about. But that's not what they collect. I can shock you that the minimum any local government chairman, that's why we need to begin to interrogate them. That way, the minimum any local government chairman collects about 1 billion in River State. So you're talking about removing the minimum of 20 billion naira. So you can't say that shouldn't come. So it's like when people now releasing something and say, look, this thing has come to River State. Ours is also okay. If it has come, what are you using it for? What is overhead? You know, what is the overhead? You know, and I think, Loresia, I'm going to say it on the TV, that you will speak to the Accountant General. Because I've made that contact. You need to speak to the Accountant General. Let him begin to tell us in nitty-gritty. I mean, we have freedom of information for crying out loud, so that this station can inform the public very well. I wrote them that look, people will come to you to let us know what you are doing, and they are ready. The papers are there. People shouldn't just be talking from outside. What is the River State overhead? Look at the ROSU. Look at the greatest, the Admiral University. Look at all of those things and look at the overhead and see how much does it take. And you find out that, look, our allocation is far too low. Up till now, that we're still having this kind of allocation, for me, is an indictment of governments that we haven't done well.
All right. So to a large extent, you feel that going by what River State is supposed to have as allocation, this in 4 months is quite too low.
Too low, yes.
Right? That's what you're saying. So
sure.
For you, this disbursement for River State governance is fair, considering
very fair.
The state of emergency
very
in
fair.
River State.
Very fair.
All right, very well. Then moving forward, River State Independent Electoral Commission, reconstituted by sole administrator Ibok-Ete Ibas, retired, has scheduled the local government elections for August 30, 2025. This follows the dissolution of the previous RISEC board established by suspended Governor Simlaye Fubara. At a stakeholders meeting, RISEC outlined its timetable and pledged transparency, though critics claim the process lacks legitimacy. Opposition groups and civic bodies have strongly opposed the timetable, citing the failure to provide a constitutionally required 90-day notice to political parties. Critics like Blessing Wikina argue the election is a mere formality to justify spending, while others anticipate legal challenges will derail the process. RISEC insists it followed due process in planning the elections. The Emeka Beke-led faction of the APC and advocacy group, Pilex Center, have vowed to challenge the legality of the polls. They argue that the sole administrator lacks constitutional authority to constitute RISEC or conduct local government elections, citing Section 198 of the Nigerian Constitution. Calls for public resistance against the planned polls are growing louder. Chizi, what do you make of this development in River State?
I don't know where to start, but let me ask this question before I forget. Is Ibok-Ete still an APC person? He's not an APC person.
Well, you are part of the APC.
Yes, he's no longer an APC. Ibok-Ete was just seen last Friday, Saturday, going around with the ADC coalition and all of that.
With the ADC coalition?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Ibok-Ete is not in ADC. They are all in ADC, so they are no longer part of
Ibok-Ete has not told us that he has.
But what I am telling you is that in welcoming Amechi, who is ADC now, in going from one place to the other, Ibok-Ete was there, obviously.
Doesn't make him an ADC.
No, it does, because
in the current political ecosystem.
No, what I mean is
people dine and wine with people in opposition parties.
No, you don't go to campaign for people. You don't go to ask for people to join ADC as an APC person. No, you don't. No. So the fact that even though I go and wine, of course we are first, we are first indigenous. We are human first, and so we may have elected, and we're going to relate far after here. And so that means that I can be with anybody, maybe in functions, in funerals, and all of that. But not when you are going to tell people to leave my party to another party, then I follow you. That means that I'm already saying I'm leaving the party, even if you have not sent your resignation letter. Even though Amechi also has not sent his resignation letter, he said he has sent it. I don't know who he sent it to, or which world chairman has he sent it to. Let's not forget, I don't want to even go to that angle, because of which APC world chairman did he send it to, which of them. So he will have to tell us the APC world chairman that he has sent it to, whether we received it. That is neither here or there. I just wanted to ask that question in the passing. But then, on the local government election, now this is, Laurencia, I see there is something I have quoted here before that the Pope John Paul II did say, and I found that very interesting. He said that partial drinking intoxicates the mind. He said, drink deeply, that's where the parallel lies. Now, most times, people get this information on a facial level. You look at the dissolution of the Enebele-led RISEC as the dissolution of RISEC. It's a different thing. That you dissolve the board doesn't mean you dissolve the institution. And so, whatever the board has decided, until otherwise, it still stays. Remember that the Nebele had announced previously the date of this election, meeting the 90 days, which is supposed to be August 9.
Did he release the voter register before announcing that?
No. See, when they say voters register, you don't release voters. There's no law that says you must release voters register before you announce. No. Please, no.
Cheesy.
I said it's not releasing voters register before you announce. It is before
you schedule a date for election.
You are saying announcement.
So what does the law say?
No, you are saying announcement.
What does the law say?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that here now that, firstly, do you agree with the fact that the Nebele did announce a date?
Of course, it was scheduled from August 9 to August 30.
Not Enebele.
Now, people,
not Enebele.
Justice, you asked Justice Enebele.
Yes,
Justice Enebele, retired, the former RISEC chairman, had announced August 9 for the local government election.
Yes.
And now the current RISEC chairman, has scheduled to August 30.
No, I'm coming to that.
Go ahead.
I'm coming to that. You agree that Enebele did announce for August 9. You also agree that the America Bekes and the Blessed Wickedness, all of them supported that announcement. You also agree, I'm talking about the same people, that they also agreed on that announcement. But what they didn't know is that the dissolution of that same board does not mean dissolution of the resolution of that board of RISEC. That's what I don't understand. RISEC exists as an institution, and so when these persons came, all they needed to do is to act on what he have said. And in rescheduling this election, some people said, okay, that you're going to call. I'm coming to that. People said, no, you call stakeholders, and I said, what the law says is that you publish their timetable. So it's whether you bring stakeholders or not, whether anybody is saying no or yes, the highest you can do, and don't forget, the highest you can do is not to participate in the election. They are already calling the people to resist it in Rivers State. Resist which election? You had an election where you supported, where you sent candidates that all of us said it was a flagrant display of lack of procedures and process, and all of you supported it. Now they are telling you that we are only improving. There was a time during Jonathan that under Jiga that the election was postponed. Is that correct? Election has been scheduled
during Jonathan.
Yes, was postponed. Now, you know what that means? INEC, and in this instance, RISEC, has the right to postpone an election. They have the right to postpone an election. So that is what this people do. It is in rescheduling is the word postponing the date of the election, not the process of election. Election is not an event that only happens on that day. There are certain things that may have been happening underground that they are now ready because they have fund to be able to fund this. Okay, please, now that we are here, can you just give us some like 21 days, you know, from which day you were supposed to do it, and then put it on 30th so we can continue with it. That's what is happening. I don't know why people look at it from other angle. And then you're not saying that Ibas, let me come to that Ibas does not have the right to supervise an election. You know, if Ibas didn't dissolve that RISEC and they were conducting the election, would they ask? It is even the more reason why I am in support of having an Ode who is not from River State. This is the reason. Because you see, when people have a link to a certain person's, then what that person is doing is correct. As soon as that link is cut off, it's no longer correct. And I said, one of the advantage we will have in having an Ode who is not from here, one of the advantage that we have in having an Ode who is not from here is that as soon as a cheesy or masala is announced now, no matter the level of my integrity, it may be compromised. Reason is they have linkages with my relatives, linkages with friends, linkages with this. Now that they don't have land linkages, come out and run for election. They have announced election. Come and run election and win if you are popular. ADC should in fact even test their popularity now. This is even going to test the popularity. The maker faction of the APC should, God forbid, the maker ADC should go and then test their popularity in this whole thing, and let us see, because all of the people who are in ADC now, who are parading themselves in ADC, are people who do not win elections. They don't win elections. They don't know how to win election, and they've not won election for. I work with them, so it's not like something. They don't even know how to plan an election. So let us see what they are doing. I don't understand why people want to make an opportunity have been created. You were saying that the constitution of, the appointment of the state administrators of the local governments were not okay by us. And it's okay, let's organize an election. He doesn't know they shouldn't organize an election. You know what they are saying? That upon the return of the suspended governor, we will now start afresh. And then maybe have like the next 6 months again to be able to conduct an election. Meanwhile, Enebele, thanks to him, I was even criticizing him, thanks to him that he has given us a window, has announced a date already. So they are queuing up to that date.
They are queuing up to that date.
That's all.
And then the concerns of persons challenging that in court as well.
No. See, let me tell you something. I said it here that a lawyer took his is it client or what they call them? You know, a lawyer. You know, the person he was defending. What's the right word for the person the lawyer is holding brief for?
That's the lawyer's client.
The client, yes. Took his client to court for a case he knows that he will not win, and then they went there and lost in the court of first instance. And then the man said, "Okay, what do we do?" Say, "Let's go to appeal." Let's go on appeal. They went on appeal, and the guy lost. I said, "Okay, what do we do?" They went on appeal and to Supreme Court, and the guy lost. Okay, what do we do? He said, "You give me my money and go back home, and then I go back to my chambers." Some of them are there cashing out. I told you that what part of this thing is you will see how this court will pan out. You see, they are going to court. You will see how it pan out. It will stop. They won't go anywhere because the funding is no longer there. Nobody is funding them. Forget this thing they are doing. SIM is no longer funding them. The thing they want to do, and like I've told you, their ATM was not only put at pause, it has been destroyed. So they can't cash out again. Oh, this is they are making noise. Go and run an election. We were here when they had a primaries in 1 week and had an election on Saturday, and then had a swearing in, and then the Maker congratulated them. We're here. So there should also be that, if they have to be that fast in 1 week, this is how many, a month plus, that supersonic speed should come.
So now the agitation that there should have been a 90-day notice, you're saying, in essence, what you're saying is that the 90 days notice is not required here because local government election has been announced by the former RISEC chairman. What this RISEC is doing is continuum of governance. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So it's just a mere continuation, that the position of the institution of RISEC still remains the same. It's just a change in the
In the
individuals
person, yes.
pioneering that institution
Straight.
or governing that
It just
institution.
fits, yes, sir.
That's what you're saying.
Very well.
So going by what you have said, everything that Justice Enebeli did after the Supreme Court judgment in organizing another election is valid and legal.
Very good.
And therefore, Michael Ode coming to continue where Justice Enebeli stopped still legalizes whatever actions.
Government is a
doing
continuum.
now. All right, very well. And for you, to a large extent, you also think that the people who are crying foul are the same people who supported Justice Enebeli
And participated, even in the announcement.
participated actively in the announcement and all of that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So for you, they do not have any locus to be crying foul, considering that they supported the initial act.
Yes.
And you're finding it kind of questionable that they are questioning this one. Probably the support would be that whatever action that Justice Enebeli took, he took under a democratic leader. He took under Governor Simlaye Fubara when he was still the governor, when he wasn't suspended. But in this instance, the dynamics are not the same, because in this instance, this is under emergency rule.
Let me tell you something, just
So that could explain why the same people who supported Justice Enebeli under an elected governor is not supporting Michael Ode under a sole administrator.
Okay, now, let me bring out that issues. That's very technical, Larissa. But let me bring out that issue. Now you see that Ode went through screening process of the assembly. You know, and I know you'll be in a haste to correcting me that it's a national assembly. Like I've said.
No, I will not be in a haste to correct you, because the Constitution provides that the National Assembly take over the role.
Of the assembly.
So what they did is what they had to do.
What they had to do. So remember that he went through the screening process and was accepted by Rivers State, because that's what the assembly represents now. And so, and then was sworn in. And I said, okay, that the man who, people don't understand the difference between a non-democratic. Now, this is not a military regime appointing a sole administrator. No, this is a democratically elected president appointing a sole administrator in a state where the court has said we do not have government. In a state where the court said we do not have government. So as soon as a state where the president now took over strict. It's the president that's sitting here. It is the president. It is not a boss. A boss is just representing the president. And so the president now took over because he would not allow any entity of this country to be split or to be run undemocratically. So the president just asked a boss to go ahead. No wonder it is the president that submits the budget to the National Assembly. Check. It is not a boss. It is the president. That he only just goes to defend it on behalf of the president. The same way president submits the entire budget and ministers go to defend it. People should understand that. So it is democratic. It is democratic. So he is working as a democratic government. And of course, in inheriting that government, now he has a National Assembly. I can tell you for the past 1-2 years, he is even better a legally person than the suspended governor. Because why? Why do I say so? The suspended governor, what is the difference between democracy and other forms of government? It's legislator. The other government wasn't working with the legislators. He had a forum that he was just going, a 4-month, 3-month forum that he would just submit what he called budget, financial listing, and then they will approve. And the maker and all of these people will applaud him. Now that this man has gone to the law, to bring forth our appropriation to screen these persons and appoint them and inaugurate them, you are saying no. The court will tell us, like I said, the best of the senior advocate of Nigeria, if they have the senior advocate of the world, can only have an opinion of law. The court will give us the judgment, isn't it? So why they go to court? We should continue, but they shouldn't be calling people to come out and then say no, do this and do that. They've started. Emeka has started calling the people to come out. Tomorrow they will deny that they never called people to come out. Emeka, don't come and extend emergency rule. I'm begging them.
What do you mean by extending emergency rule?
Because they are calling for crisis. They are calling for crisis. They want people to come out and fight. Rivers people don't know how to fight with boxing. It is with gun and knife. If they call for that crisis and anything happen, they will extend this thing. They will be the one crying, though. I will not cry. Because I've not been in government. I won't be nothing. They will be the one crying. I will not cry. And if they extend it, there's nothing that says that the the president must use Ibas. The president can use me, and if he's going to use me, let them extend it. So I know whether they will begin to talk there again.